Hey there, it's Clary Berry, and I'm here today to talk to you about Bitcoin. Now, we are going to do a longer video on Bitcoin. I know that last week, we had some days where I was not as good as I usually am, and a couple of you definitely noticed it, and I do apologize about that. I don't think I was completely off. If you look at the way that I do this again, I give you the year, so you have, the overall. And yes, the 6th was supposed to be a good day, but also those longer term aspects do not fall on the exact day as much as the weekly horoscope. So to have the weekly horoscope with a bigger aspect that was in it was a little misleading, and I probably should have explained that a little bit more. But also, time zones and all of that stuff. I mean, there are aspects, and I've done this before, you're checking it during the day, real time, and you're looking at it and you feel like it's doing something. But then when you actually look at it at the end of the day, I'm looking at the time, from the time it starts to the time it ends. If I'm doing the day, we're looking at what's happening that day. So, if I say it's going to be a good day, and it's going to go up that day, it may come back down by the end of the day. I usually try to designate that, but just because we had a dip the day before and it makes this, the dip on the 5th made the 6th feel so bad, but the 6th was actually up. So I'm just saying you have to look at the day, towards the end of the day as it's happened in order to kind of review. Or you have to you can look at the week, but outside of the week, if you go to the month, you're not going to be able to see these smaller nuances because you're going to have a more weekly picture being told. So I just want to put that out there. I don't think I've ever said that, so I wanted to say it now. So anyway, we are just going to jump right in. Again, check out the year video if you haven't seen that already in the Bitcoin playlist. So on the 9th, we already talked about the 9th, and I think I want to change oh gosh, look at this. This is so for this week, you guys. Getting this confusion all mixed up here. It's just, see, maybe it's not as bad. Maybe this confusion is not going to be as bad as we think. But if you look at the general astrology of what's going on this week, there's a lot. Well, even these 2 weeks for most of January, if we look at the general, you've got fear, uncertainty, doubt with all of these Neptune aspects at the beginning of the week. And then you've got Mercury retrograde starting, which only brings in, communication, unpredictability, confusion, mishaps, things like that. And then you have Ceres moving into Taurus, which might cause, some bumpiness, within ourselves here. And then, okay, Pluto, here, which can help us with big, big, big changes and sometimes can be very chaotic and, burn it down to the ground before we rebuild and make these changes. We've got full moon in Cancer, and then we've got Uranus going direct, can be definitely chaos and surprises. And then our, Sun goes into Aquarius. So very big, big, big couple of weeks here. And again, this first week, just want you guys to notice how these overall aspects, and these will be affecting all of us, not just Bitcoin, but it's gonna muddle things up a little bit. Again, with Mercury retrograde, it's just, there's gonna be a little, you could say, confusion. And for crypto, that usually comes to be fear, uncertainty, doubt. So as much as we wanted, last week to be good, it may be good compared to this week, compared to the rest of the month. And again, we'll get to it, but the other, good time is towards the end of the month. And I feel like, honestly, if I had to just show you what I think it's going to be like, I think this is what the line's going to look like. Okay. Beginning, yes, maybe down, maybe over. It's going to be one of the two. And then 25th is going to be up and then down again from there, just so you know. But let's get at it on a daily basis. Again, this is just so you can dollar cost average in for the week on the best possible day. That's kind of more of what we're doing here rather than, big price prediction, because we already know the long terms. Again, if you want the long term, check out the long term video. Anyway, without further ado, again, the 9th. Okay, let me take another one clarifier for the 9th here. It's just such ambiguous. Of course, Mars square Uranus. It can be, Uranus aspects are just hard. And So I think we have maybe some downward and then maybe some upward. I think we might have a V. I think we might have some downward energy. There were some other things I think that I didn't look at when we did the last video. When I included the ninth in last week's, we also have Uranus sextile, Sun sextile Uranus, which gives it a lot of volatility, but gives it, again, kind of an upswing. And the Mars square Uranus, of course, unexpected. These are two different, this is just two different Uranus aspects here working with each other. And, this one, I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of positive too. Just because it's Uranus, I'm going to take one more because we've got the drive. Okay, we've got the drive, but it's almost like we might work against ourselves in some way or really face a struggle that we've really got to get through. So I'm seeing down early and then honestly, maybe a little peak midday. No, maybe just the peak is coming. I think it's going to be down and then down some more. And so I think I'm calling my initial, and I know it's the ninth today. It's already gotten started, just based on everything. And again, this other new aspect that I didn't look at before. I think it's going to go down and then sideways, basically here from those cards, and kind of final answer. So again, I know it is like 9 o'clock in the morning here, Central Standard Time. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this. 10th. Nothing. We got nothing. And then the next day we have nothing. So when you have two nothing days in a row, this is a slow start to the week. Okay. 11th might be better, but I think pointing to the 12th, absolutely going to be even more. Oh, got the Hermit card. Okay. Well, the 12th, nope. The 12th is up. 13th is sideways. 12th, we've got Sun, what do you call it? Sun trine Saturn. And there is some action there. There is some planning. And I think that that's going to come the next, it's going to be very slight. It's going to be more like planning, more like kind of sideways. But again, it's going to be better than the day before. Okay. And then the 13th, I think, goes back down. We have Mars square Saturn. And I think this is more very, very cautious. It's going to be down from anything that it did, I think, on the 12th, I think is how that's coming through. There's a lot of chaos. These are really hard to read. And not only the cards, but the actual, signs here. There's a lot of uncertainty. Again, fear, uncertainty, doubt, a lot of FUD out there. Okay. So let's take one for the 13th again. Okay. So yeah, the 13th is going to be not so great. And the 14th, I don't think is either, guys. Oh my gosh. Mars sextile Neptune. Okay. Going sideways. I honestly, the cards are saying, okay, let's take 14, because I kind of thought we already had 14 from here. Maybe they're talking about 15. Sometimes, again, you get this, and see, I'm even confused about what I'm asking. Like, if you don't have it in your head, what you're asking. But yeah, this right here, this muddled, okay, what are we doing? What day is it? What are we talking about exactly? That's exactly the vibe for the month, or for the week for everyone here. So, okay, so... Okay, so 14 might not be super, super bad with Mars sextile Neptune. It could be more sideways, and then 15, 16. Yeah, there's just nothing to go off of. We've got a waxing gibbous moon. Again, this whole week is slow start. Okay. Just sorry that this is like literally the best I can do, because there's just nothing. And again, towards the middle of the week is probably when you're gonna see the most action. You're gonna see some positive sparks, some positive movement. Okay. Almost like it could be like a Tuesday, Thursday. Otherwise, like, Saturday. if I had to guess, I'd say Tuesday and Saturday. But then again, 12th and 13th might not be as bad. The rest of the days, nothing going on at all. Just boring. Again, people are going to be so disappointed. People are going to be like, what's the deal here? What's going on with Bitcoin? Is it bleeding? Is it dying? Da, 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 da. So again, great week to probably get in still. Okay. I'm just going to be honest. It's not what I want to see as a hodler, but and again, if I do mess up, I usually get too optimistic. So that is just something to keep in mind. So on the 17th, we have, again, this theme of the slow start. And again, if you look at the yearly, when we talked about January, this is exactly what we expected. Okay, 17th, we might have a little spark in the dark. Maybe. Okay, just nothing is astrological to go off of. The 18th, again, I think there's planning. There's some good signs, like people are still talking about Bitcoin. They haven't totally forgotten about it. Now, on the 19th is when we have some good energy. Sun conjunct Jupiter. This could be more clarity, and this is really a positive indicator this day for future growth. We're going to finally have some hope. Okay, it's going to be good. And it's a renewal. We can finally, get excited about Bitcoin again. 20th, though, back to nothing, and we're in a waning moon. Okay, so could be kind of having to wait for any more accomplishments, but I don't think they're far off. The 21st, yeah, it's not happening yet, guys. It's not happening yet, but it's also, again, we haven't lost hope. And on the 22nd is when things finally happen with Sun conjunct Mercury, big plans starting. Again, there's kind of we're still very optimistic, but it's a very cautious optimism. Okay. And it's kind of still a little bit inward, a little bit mental plans, a little bit not, it's a little bit fiery, a little bit of buzzing. Okay. But just not as big as, we would really want. Okay. 23rd, meh, sideways, nothing to go off of. 24th, Mars sextile Venus. This is a tower. Okay. This is either a little dip here. I think this might be a dip before the bigness. Okay. 25th, Jupiter sextile Mars. Oh my gosh. These are good aspects. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So at the end, maybe the 26th is 20. Okay. So let's just go here. 24th is Mars sextile Venus. And this is coming into, should be some positive energy. Okay. Should be some positive energy and luck with money. Okay. Our tower, usually, it's shocking. Usually people think of it as danger, crisis, but it can be about power, liberation, and absolute shocking change. Okay. So again, you're having little bitty bits of brightness come through, but really it's the shining light through the hole in a really dark room. Okay. But this is where we have, wow, shocking. Everybody's absolutely shocked here in a really big way. Okay. And then 25th, we have, again, Jupiter sextile Mars. These two on the 25th and the 26th are bigger aspects. Okay. They're bigger aspects, so they may not fall exactly on these days. Okay. And there should be energy, action, opportunity with this aspect. Again, if it falls on the 25th, I'm not entirely convinced that the cards are saying that it will. That's the kind of thing we're looking at here when we look at these bigger aspects and bring them into, try to look at the dailies. Now the 26th looks good, and that's a bigger aspect as well, but it's coming through with the cards here, Mars conjunct Pluto. And again, the thing about Mars conjunct Pluto is we know that you have to have, the big crazy, possibly crisis moment, before you can kind of have the phoenix rise out of the ashes and change, burn it down to the ground before you can, rebuild. So there is almost peak energy on this day. And there's actually another aspect peaking that I think might be, yep, the culprit here. North Node, darn North Node sesquiquadrate Sun, is actually putting a damper on everything. All of this juicy, bursting Mars energy with Jupiter and Venus that should be so good, I think it's absolutely being dampened by this bigger aspect. And sorry if this takes so long to get to the point. So again, when we look at our 24th, 25th, 26th here, this build up, this peak, and then come back down, which I do think it probably will be right around this time. I'll take the rest of the cards to see. But, you know, it's not honestly that crazy. It's really subdued by, again, this North Node sesquiquadrate sun, natal sun for Bitcoin. So very slow start to the year, okay? But let's take the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, just to be true to this boring ass energy for January. We have nothing peaking for the rest of the month, okay? So first of all, right away, we see some dualities, okay? Maybe some ups and some downs. You know, it's trying. It's not for lack of trying. You see our peak here. I think that's definitely what we're going to have coming through, guessing from the cards here and the intuition, not necessarily the astrology, except for to know that, you know, on these days where we don't have a lot, we always talk about this. I don't know, tell me if I'm saying it too much and you guys already get it, but, you know, we don't have a lot of aspects, especially 4 in a row. It's going to be down and sideways. It's just not, you know, again, 29th might be the best day out of these. And we might be picking up some energy, some momentum. We might be getting further along than we thought by the end of the month. 4th, let's see, 28th. I'm kind of going backwards here. 28th, you know, might be more sideways with a little peak in the middle. Okay, we might be like trying to have these little breakouts. And then, you know, 7th, you know, we could see that round. Did you guys notice that round energy we had for both Bitcoin and I think it was Ethereum, that I totally called it for Ethereum, but I didn't put it over here on the Bitcoin side. But I thought it was so interesting. Not only that I called the round, you know, line, but that it was a round line. Very, very interesting. So anyways, might be, yeah, 29th might be pretty good. 30th might not be that bad. But we'll just have to wait and see. I wanted to get into that and why I'm here. Let's look into add some extra. Again, if you want the long term, check out the yearly video. But there's some things that I didn't look at. The 4th really is the start of Ceres in conjunct Mars, and this really sums up kind of what we're going through. It's tense, but then we start to finally gain some more momentum because, and again, it's small steps at first, healthy friction to grow. You know, the up and the downs, the small up and the downs really create, you know, movement. And, you know, anytime you have people doing things, you know, it's really good. It's attention grabbing, and it gets more people drawn in, and it really puts a fast track on the growth here, reboots kind of the fighting spirit of Bitcoin, and there's some quick moves. This peaks March 7th. So then also looking into, peaking on the 16th, we have Pluto conjunct Sun, and that's more like learning. I feel like we're definitely learning from our mistakes. Might be kind of sideways through that aspect. Again, we'll do this again. This isn't going to be our final word for February or March, but in March 24th, did not talk about Jupiter conjunct Uranus, and that is the sudden luck, opportunity, excitement, idealism, totally different direction, you know, than we were going before. And again, kind of a getting us back started and back into the year kind of energy. Okay. So, yeah, stay tuned for more. Again, we will talk about it. We do the long terms, we do the midterms, and we do the dailies, weeklies. So stay subscribed. Thanks for the likes, share, subscribes, comments, etc. I appreciate you guys. You can find me all over social media, Clary Berry at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and Pinterest. So I hope to see you guys around. Love to build community, and I'll talk to you soon.